Before this race started, Truex announced the return. The Dick Slinger is back for another year, ladies and gentlemen. Truex 2024.
Hey there, folks. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of NASCAR Cup Dates. So, this should be the part where I come at you and tell you how fantastic of a time I had at Michigan. Getting to see Chris Buescher win in person couldn't be more ecstatic of an event, and Mother Nature screwed me on this one. I wasn't able to stay overnight. I had to go home on Monday. It was 7 in the morning, and I said to myself, I could drive 3 hours back to Michigan, but what are the odds of him winning at a track like Michigan? Much better than I thought, apparently. Oh, God, that one hurts. But that being said, Chris Buescher put on a hell of a show. Michigan did not disappoint. There was a lot, and I do mean a lot of on-track battles, a lot of controversy. Tyler Reddick's team failing him when it counted the most. Noah Gragson is a story we are going to touch on in just a little bit. But without further ado, let's get to it.
Michigan started on Saturday night, where Noah Gragson got suspended for liking a post about George Floyd. Now, I don't condone this, but Kyle Larson said the N-word. Next year he was a champion, so just saying. We didn't even get going before NASCAR had to bring some cars down the pits because of rain. Now, did a whole bit a few weeks ago about rain. I'm not going to keep going at it, but you need to make sure that before we put these things inside, that you actually want to kill people. This break took an hour, and in this time, I had to go to bed because I had work in the morning. All I was going to be looking at was highlights and clips. But whilst trying to take a shower, I noticed the race started going. So I got to see stage one. Yes. Ty Gibbs was starting in third with Chris Buescher in fourth. Christopher Bell was on the pole, and Ross Chastain was in second, right next to Bell. Where else would he have been? Ty Gibbs said he'd push his teammate on the radio, but instead pushed Ross Chastain. Rookie mistake. Big brains. Kyle Busch brought out the first caution by spinning underneath Ryan Blaney. Richard Childress Racing has gone back to doing what they do best. Having one good week and disappearing for 6 months. Right, Kyle just spun the car and Austin Dillon was doing shit. There wasn't much else I could say for that. Oh, Chase has fucked it. Chase Elliott out of the playoffs. Let's be real, we're going to be saying that in a few weeks. That's costly. He's not going to make it. Michael McDowell also had some problems, so maybe it's not so bad. But Ty Gibbs is making up ground, so little shit. William Byron smacked the wall. The announcer said something about Byron being in between Hamlin and LaJoie. And I'll be honest, when I heard Hamlin's name, I kind of just felt shame. But wasn't him, so we move. Josh Berry spun. I'll be honest, there was just so many solo spins, and yeah, so I'm just going to rattle them off one by one. Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, William Byron, Malaysian Airlines 370, Lightning McQueen. This knot I found on the internet. Josh Berry, Christopher Bell hit the wall, but he's still going. And Ryan Preece blew a tyre, but he caught it. So, fair play. Some of this actually happened on the Monday when they went back green. So we're kind of out of sync. Bubba Wallace took the lead from Martin Truex Jr. And Austin Where the fuck did he come from? He's done nothing all year. And he's been good on tracks where you don't need to use the brakes. How in the living name of fuckery is he the one that is leading forward? These are the questions that killed Stephen Hawkins. When the pre-caution came out, some cars stayed out for points. Because why wouldn't they? And some pitted because, fuck it. Truex managed to blow past that entire field And on the final lap, I'm just going to play it.
Looking to win this stage. This could be a huge day for Daniel.
They got that 19 car Truex all over the back of them now.
Look at the 19. He came to pit road on lap 102, and now look at this. The possibility exists he could win the stage.
Daniel needs to recognize that that 19 car is just faster. And how aggressive do you get right here? Don't overdrive this thing. Even if you get 8 stage points instead of 10, it's still a huge gain.
Here comes Truex high on the high side. Daniel's going to squeeze him. Truex to the inside down the front straightaway.
Tries to side draft him, and he'll do it. Truex is going to win the stage.
Bowman fucked it on the restart, and it wasn't his fault. Cindric put McDowell into Gilliland, who made Briscoe drive into Bowman, and Bowman went into the wall. I made a diagram. That might help explain. Buescher and Reddick took off in stage 3 and just gapped Truex to about 6 seconds, which was intense because Truex pitted late in stage 2. These guys stayed out. So Truex would have to pit, but it'd be less time, so he'd make up a bit of a gap. And then Buescher and Reddick would have to pit, but they'd be longer. So what I'm saying is, this was mad.
The last round of pit stops, Tyler Reddick and Chris Buescher come in at the exact same time. Tyler Reddick gets out just before Chris, and it almost feels like the number 45 Rocket League car is going to sail off into the sunset, but catastrophe strikes. The tire changer did not have one of the lugs on, and upon replay, he knew he made a mistake. He called over the jackman to jack it back up, said, nah, you know what, I think I got it, ran it back on while the car was down. Obviously, this man has not been listening to Larry McReynolds one little bit during any of Larry Mac's ramblings of, you cannot put on the lugs while the car is down. This man screwed over Tyler Reddick. The whole wheel nearly fell off the car in the final few laps of this race. More than just the final, but Tyler Reddick was very, very vocal about that entire incident. Not happy in the slightest. Chris Buescher went on to battle Martin Truex in one of the closest, hardest fought battles I've ever seen. I wish it was in person.
Not only did he cost me the win in picks, but he cost me my fantasy win by about 37 points, right? I could have closed up to second place. I'm 4th out of 5. It's not that big of a deal. So in the end, it was Truex versus Buescher. And whilst they were fighting, Ty Dillon was leading. Not only that, right, his shitbox of a machine, Austin Dillon was in second. Who invited these people? Who invited them to the lead of the race? Nobody. Nobody did that. Truex manages to get alongside him. He doesn't manage to get past, but wow, almost spun himself out. We're seeing Truex and Buescher going at it. Dan was right. He is the most slept on driver in the field. The last time the 17 won back-to-back races was in 2009 when Matt Kenseth won the Daytona 500 and also won in Fontana to back that one up. I only know that because Rick Allen said on the broadcast that the last time the 17 won back-to-back races was in 2009. You get what I'm saying. Fair play to Rick Allen, by the way. He's been solid since I've called him shit. So, don't want to say I have some credit. Michigan should replace Texas in the playoffs. Why isn't that a playoff track now? The car runs so well there, and I'm not being funny. If we take a look at what happened at Texas last year, why is that still in the playoffs? Texas, being as shit as it is, blow it to ruins.
Now it's time for Dan's Strong Opinion.
And now we are on to my strong opinions of the week. So, what strong opinions do I have for you this week? More tracks need lights. Look, okay, listen. I'm obviously still very, very irked about not being able to see my boy get it done when it counted the most. And a track like Michigan, if it had lights, that would have definitely extended the window of when they could get the race going. I don't care if I got out of there at 12:30 at night and got here back at 3:45 or something. Sucks to suck is what it is. I would deal with that. But there are certain tracks out there on the NASCAR circuit I feel are world tracks. These are the tracks that comprise NASCAR in the ilk of what it is. Michigan was a two-timer a year, now only a one-timer a year. Lights would help just to improve the window that this race goes on. A track like Michigan has always been just a massive, massive attractor of terrible, terrible weather. Certain tracks out there simply cannot have lights. There are certain ordinances in place where lights are simply not an option. I don't know if that's a factor for Michigan, but if it is not, I feel like they need to put lights up at this track. There's a few other tracks on the NASCAR circuit that if they are legally allowed to put up lights, somebody needs to pony up the money, if it's the track owner, if it's NASCAR themselves. But we cannot keep on doing this. Pushing races to Monday. We've had so many Monday races this year, it's absolutely baffling. NASCAR just needs to do something about this. Lights would be a tremendous, tremendous help. And these are my opinions. I'm sticking to them.
Alright, so Dan, the prick, won picks. So he gets to pick first.
And now we are on to the Indianapolis Road Course. This has been a very, very exciting track in the last few years, especially with this new car. So look, before I proceed with my pick, I really want the Indianapolis Road Course to stay. People want the rectangle back, Indianapolis in all of its glory. I want this. So, without any further ado, who do I think is going to get it done? I think you need to look at the road course ringer, AJ Allmendinger. This man has been struggling all year. Unfortunately, this has been who AJ Allmendinger is his entire career. And now that he's got himself back into a full-time ride, he has defaulted back onto who he is. But that also means the road course ringer, that is AJ Allmendinger, is going to be in full force this weekend. He is coming off of a terrible season. This man needs to win to make it in. That's almost what it feels like with the position he's put himself in. He has to get a W to lock himself in. AJ Allmendinger is going to be driving angry. I think you're going to see a side of him you seldomly ever see, especially this weekend. AJ Allmendinger is my pick going into this one.
I believe Jenson Button's running this weekend. Mike Rockenfeller is now, he's here. So it's between them two. And Jenson would have raced Indy in Formula 1. But, one, that's not been on the schedule since like 2008. And two, what the fuck does that matter? I'm going to go for Shane Van Gisbergen.
And without further ado, that will wrap up our show. This has been a chaotic weekend, just hanging out at Michigan, and just the absolute rain, the misting, it just would not let up. I understand the decision to postpone it to Monday, but man, oh man, does that one hurt. But you're not here to hear me complain, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Always a pleasure. Elliot, love being here with you. As always, give us a like, a follow, a comment down below. Give this video a share. Let us know, as usual, how wrong I am and how right he is. Give me a follow at CupDatesDan on Twitter. Wish you could have been more active this weekend, but the race, the rain, everything was all up in the air, topsy-turvy. Guys, I'm looking forward to this weekend. I really think that Chris Buescher's going to also have a good shot at this. I want 3! I want 3! Gentlemen, ladies, folks, y'all, have a good night.
Cheers.